actually make gates, only find them and open and close them. He spent a lot of time with her. But Pat saw something about Hermia that Danny couldn't see, that she was using him, that she could not be trusted. Hermia didn't show any close bond to him. She wasn't his. And when Pat went to his house late one night to warn him about Hermia, something happened. Pat ended up confessing to him something she hadn't realized until that moment, that she herself was in love with him, the only one of the girls who really was. And Danny responded by kissing her and telling her that he loved her in return. It was so overwhelming emotionally that if he had wanted to, she would have made love to him then and there. But Danny refused. He wouldn't do it. He wasn't going to have sex with anybody until he actually made a lifelong commitment and married someone. Period. No exceptions, not even for true love. After she left, Pat was stunned and humiliated by her own audacity in going to his little two-room house alone and practically throwing herself at him. She felt as stupid and obvious as Xena. Except that Danny had wanted her. He loved her. So there was nothing to feel stupid about. That mantra kept her going. Then Danny took them through a great gate to the world of Westil. He had been forced into making the great gate by Hermia's betrayal, and the purpose was to take the Mithermage families through the great gate to Westil, and then bring them all back to Earth, to Middelgard. Passage through a great gate also brought mages to the peak of their powers. Danny had hoped that if any of his non-magical Drouther friends from Parry McClure High had latent magical abilities, they would emerge after that passage. None of the others reported having any changes in them, but that didn't prove anything, because a new power had emerged in Pat, and she hadn't told anybody. Though it was hard to imagine any of the others keeping something like that secret. Maybe Hal, but the others would blab or brag or be so scared they would have to talk to somebody. Pat had no such need. She recognized what was going on the moment she felt the air of Westil moving against her skin. Then, moments later, when she returned to Earth, the same feeling was there. It wasn't Westil's air that mattered to her after passing through a great gate. It was air. Air in motion. Air with power. She had always loved the wind, from breezes to gales. She was not surprised that this turned out to be her affinity. And she began to be able to spin little whirlwinds, to raise a breeze, even a wind. A few times walking alone down a steep hill, she had created a wind that lifted her off her feet and carried her several yards in whatever direction she chose. I can fly, she had thought. Yet she told no one, not even Danny. She meant to, but it never came up. And she was afraid he'd see what she could do and say, "Is that all?" No, Danny would never show disappointment. He'd be very encouraging, but she'd see in his eyes that he was not impressed. So she held off, working on her wind magery privately, so she'd have something worth showing when she finally told him. But today something happened that made her own pathetic magery seem utterly unimportant, because Pat had reason to believe that Danny was in grave danger. No, not danger. She had reason to believe that the worst thing had already happened to him. "So what is this meeting about, Pat?" asked Hal. He must have arrived while she was in her reverie. "I don't think this meeting should take place here," said Pat. Everyone seemed exasperated. "Then why did you bring us here?" demanded Wheeler. "Because this is where the emergency escape gate is," said Pat. "What I tell you about, I want to say in front of Danny's friend in D.C., Stone." "Why?" asked Hal. "We don't even know him." "But Danny does. And Stone knows about magery. He can tell us what to do and what not to do." "About what?" demanded Sin. "You're being so bossy and creepy." "About Danny," said Pat. She couldn't watch everyone at once, but it seemed to her that all the other girls flinched or stiffened or looked away when she spoke of doing something about Danny. Pat rose to her feet and walked to the tree that held the small gate leading to D.C. She touched the spot under the tree limb, and just like that,